Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Watches TV, where I watch all the TV shows. I cover the true crime, I cover the reality shows, I cover the trending shows on Netflix and Apple. I cover all the shows, and if you enjoy watching TV and you like to have somebody to talk to about it and have a conversation about, why not come over here and hang out with me and subscribe to my channel? And whatever shows I'm talking about, feel free to comment in the comment section below. And I just love talking about TV shows, and I love having people to talk to about TV shows, and I love finding out new things. You guys have pointed out a lot of things to me in the comment section that I didn't know, and I'm having such a blast on this channel, and I just want to say thank you so much. I actually think that today I'm going to film 2 videos over here because I'm going to do also a Sister Wives catch-up from the past seasons. I already did my reaction to the season 19 season premiere, so I think I'm going to go back and do season 15 through 18, my recaps. I also have some true crime documentaries that I will be doing later in this week. I'm currently watching Born Evil. I have 4 episodes. I started it last night, watched 1 episode. It's fantastically done. As soon as I finish that, I will be turning around and doing the true crime documentary reaction to that. If you guys want to watch it, it's on HBO Max. Max, I think it's called now. And it's called Born Evil, and it's about Haddon Clark, who is a serial killer that I had never heard of before. They even say that at the beginning. It's like a serial killer you've never heard of before. But today I want to talk about, I've actually had this like on my list to make for, I have a lot of videos on my list. I have ranking the Walking Dead spinoffs in order. I have tons of things videos I want to make. I have like 6 true crime documentaries I want to cover over here. I have all kinds of things. Last year, I covered Big Brother quite a bit. This year, I have to be honest with you, I'm not as much into Big Brother. I'm watching it. I'm keeping up with it. I'm following the Twitter announcements and all that kind of stuff. I'm not into Big Brother as much this year as I was last year, which is interesting because my husband this year, this is his very first season ever watching Big Brother. So we've been watching it together. Some nights we'll watch it apart, like it's, you know, like on eviction night, like I'll watch it by myself, then he'll watch it the next day or whatever because I want to find out what happens and whatever on the live eviction night. But this is his first season watching it. I was really excited about that. I thought, you know, like we started it, he wasn't really sure he was going to keep up with it, but now we've been watching it together, and we don't like the same people, and we're not rooting for the same people, which is interesting. But, you know, I've been watching Big Brother. I watched a lot of the early seasons. And then last year, I watched it, and I hadn't watched it in a couple seasons. I think I'd watched, like, the All-Star season, and now I'm watching it again. I'll watch every season from here. But people have been asking me, like, why aren't you covering Big Brother? And so I wanted to do a video because I have this conspiracy theory about Big Brother this season, and so I wanted to come over here and talk about this conspiracy theory. I've heard a lot of people keep on sending me TikToks about, you know, are they producer plants? These people, everybody knows who these people are. They have celebrity connections and whatever. And so I wanted to talk about my conspiracy theory about Big Brother, but I also wanted to kind of talk about the secret lives of Mormon wives as well, and kind of put those together in one video because I have kind of a theory about that as well. So actually, let's talk about the secret lives of Mormon wives. It's interesting what is going on right now. I said something in my last video that I did about them that they hadn't been renewed for a season 2. And then I got sent things from people where apparently the women from the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives have gone on interviews, and they're saying that there's like 6 seasons, that they've like opted for 6 seasons. Okay. I don't know who's saying this. I don't know if these are producers that are saying this, but I have to tell you, I have watched, I mean, in the last 30 years of my life, since reality TV ever started, I have watched Real World from the beginning and Survivor. I mean, I have watched so many shows through the years, Housewives. No show ever starts, okay, with 1 season and they opt out for 8 seasons. Not one reality show, I don't know who is saying that they opted for 5 or 6 seasons, but that just does not happen, okay? And I actually looked, and you can Google search it, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has not been renewed as of yet, okay? And people are actually begging Hulu to renew this show, which I think is interesting. I mean, it's really early. You know, we live in this world today where, like, shows on Netflix, like, if they do well or whatever, like, they're renewed right away. And so I think people are expecting quicker renewals of shows, when back in the day, we wouldn't even know till 6 months or a year sometimes if shows were renewed. So the fact that it's been out for, like, a month and people are already, you know, like, begging for its renewal, I'm totally good with 1 season. If we never have another season, I'm okay with that. If there's another season, I'll watch it. But what's interesting to me is that when I started looking into this and these things that I was sent, The women on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives are going on, and first of all, the show ends on a cliffhanger, okay? I won't say what that is in case you haven't watched it yet and you haven't watched my other videos, but the show ends on a cliffhanger, all right? So it insinuates that there's going to be a season 2. They haven't come out, and I'll Google search it right here and see. I'll on my own words right now. Is Secret, has Secret Lives, of course this is autocorrecting like crazy, Secret Lives, oh my gosh, okay, Lives of Mormon Wives, where is it, been, it doesn't say on here, okay, Wives, been renewed, let's see what it says. Because I looked this up last night and it hadn't. So if today it's been renewed, then I'm going to eat my words. Right now, this is from 2 days ago. There's no official word from Hulu. The women will be returning for another season. However, according to The Wrap, the series has become Hulu's most watched and scripted season premiere this year, beating out the most recent series of The Kardashians. So it would make sense if it got renewed. 2 days ago, Cosmopolitan, will The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives get a season 2? What's interesting about this is that all of these women, okay, especially Taylor and Whitney, who are like the two opposing factors in the show that really don't like each other, they are going on all these like press things together, taking pictures together, and they're all in these interviews talking about season 2. Well, in season 2 you find this. I think somebody said Michaela comes out and says, well, in season 2 you find out more about her and things like that, insinuating that they've already started filming on season 2. But there's been no renewal. So that's an absolute lie. I don't know if they're being told that to like get 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 people interested in the show. But the ratings are pretty good, so it looks like they probably will renew it for a second season. It's just interesting to me that they're acting as if it's already been renewed for a second season when it hasn't officially been renewed. And I just read that off of Google. I've read several articles where it said it hasn't been renewed yet, like reputable articles. And so there is no renewal of it yet. What's interesting to me is that all these girls are going on these interviews and they're talking about in season 2 as if the season 2 has already been filmed. But we know it hasn't already been filmed. What I would say to these girls is, okay, like to Whitney and Taylor, what people loved about the show was the messy drama, okay? People loved to hate Whitney on here because she was such a Mormon mean girl on the show. Now you guys are coming out and you're doing press releases together. Taylor is congratulating Whitney in comment sections of her Instagram, okay, where people are literally eating Whitney alive in her Instagram posts over how she treated Taylor, and Taylor is like, love you, girl. And I'm like, this is not how you get a renewal of a show. This is not how you get people interested in a show, because if people think that you guys are frauds, and that you think that you got along all along, and that this was all for show, people, I don't know that these girls haven't watched enough reality TV. People pick apart every little bit of reality TV. Like just yesterday, I saw a picture of some of the women from Real Housewives of Miami walking down the street, and they're like, filming has resumed. And it's literally like two women walking. It's like Julia and somebody else walking down the street. It's like they pick apart each little thing. I mean, they take pictures of them like in grocery stores. So the fact that the show got like all of its hype over the fact that none of you like each other and that Whitney said deuces to the mom talk, and now you guys are doing TikToks together. You're still doing TikToks together, and you're doing interviews together, and you're acting like you love each other. I don't think that's going to get you a second season. I can tell you for me, for this one that reacts to TV shows, if that season comes out and y'all act like you still hate each other, oh no, man. No, I'm done, okay? I'm going to call you out as a bunch of frauds, and I already think that you're a bunch of money-hungry Mormon frauds anyway, okay? That don't follow your own religion and want to hide behind your religiosity. And yes, I am getting really heated right now. You are a bunch of money-hungry Mormon frauds that want to hide behind your religiosity and be so effing problematic, okay? That you all do this for a TV show, to get a TV show off your TikToks that are just ridiculous dances at best, okay? And all these sponsorships that you guys supposedly get to pay your bills because you guys are the breadwinners of your family. Well, you wouldn't be the breadwinners of your family if you had never gotten these famous TikToks. And then you guys are showing all this stuff together about how you're together. It's like, it was a fraud. This is not how you get season 2, and this is definitely not how you hype up season 2, okay? This is not how you hype up season 2. I was into the show a little bit because I thought y'all were so messy and didn't like each other, okay? That's why people like reality TV. People like reality TV because Teresa and the Real Housewives of New Jersey flipped a table, okay? Or Tamra Judge at the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion said, and that's my opinion! They don't like this friendly bullshit, okay? Unless there's a huge coming together that they get to experience as well, like in a reunion. So maybe it happens in a reunion and we haven't seen that yet. I don't know, okay? But y'all ain't even got a season 2 yet. You out here are selling season 2. Like, well, in season 2, it's like, girl, you don't even have a season 2 yet. It'll probably get renewed tomorrow, and I'll eat my words. But anyway, I do think the show will get renewed. I think the show will be around for probably 4 seasons. And then I think it'll die off. I think the interest will die off. Because I think people will realize these girls are really not that interesting, and it's just they're kind of frauds anyway. So I wanted to share that about the real, what is it called? The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. But anyway, and messy. But I'm ready for that soda fountain shop in Indianapolis because we're getting one of those swig soda fountain shops. I hope Whitney and her husband aren't moving here because apparently people said that her husband wasn't on Tinder, he was on Grindr, and I was like, what? Is that why she's getting all these people in her comment sections saying something about, I don't know, but people were speculating about her husband's sexuality and stuff like that. I was like, okay, whatever. People asked me, they were like, what do you think of her husband? I was like, he's cute, he's a good looking guy, you know, more power to him, you know, they're having 15 kids, and they're Mormons, and they go to swig, and they drink their fountain pops. I hope they can work it out, get marriage counseling, go get you in some marriage counseling. I think they did a little bit of that, and that was probably before she took the pregnancy test and hid it in the cake that everybody was supposed to eat. That's just gross, girl. You are disgusting. You are disgusting for that alone. I don't think they should have renewed Whitney's contract for putting that disgusting peed-on pregnancy test up in that cake. That was gross. Her sister looked at her and she goes, did you put that in the cake? I was like, exactly. She's like, well, I didn't know. There's a little bit of pee on it. I was like, girl, when I go to a party, I want a piece of cake, okay? And I don't want somebody pissing on that cake. That is gross, girl. You are a dirty girl. You are a dirty girl, Whitney Levitt. Peeing on things. Then making fun of your friend, okay, for having a bunch of Fruity Pebbles come out of her cooch all over her husband's face. But you done peed on a stick and put it in a cake, girl. Okay? That is disgusting. That is disgusting. You ought to come out with your own line of urine-tasting cakes. That's what you should come out with. But anyway, now let me get to my conspiracy theory about Big Brother, okay? So here's my conspiracy theory about Big Brother. So, you know, Big Brother starts, and I have to tell you, at the beginning, I have gone back and forth and flip-flopped who I like and who I don't like. And I know that my opinion's not popular because I don't even share it with my husband, okay? But when the show started, I kind of like really liked Angela, okay? Like, I was like, oh, she's like my age, and she's like really excited to be on here and all this kind of stuff. Then it was like day 2, they come out and they say, oh, she's been on Dr. Phil, and like, let's make a deal, and the price is right. She's been on all the shows. So then they're saying she's a producer plant. Then after it comes out that she's a producer plant, she does this whole thing where she comes down the stairs and goes off on Matt. I thought that was horrible, that shit she said to Matt, okay? And she really has never even come out and apologized for it. What's interesting to me about that scene, though, having watched Big Brother so much, right, is that she comes down the stairs. If you go back and you watch that scene, she comes down the stairs. I mean, at any given time on that show, 2 of them are in the backyard. You know, 1 of them's in the kitchen. 4 of them are asleep. 2 of them are in the bathroom. I mean, they're never in the kitchen all together at the same time, okay? And she's just hanging out in her bedroom, and they're all hanging out in the kitchen. It's so contrived. And she comes down the stairs, and as she comes down the stairs, they start clapping, right? And that's when she goes off about her little visitors that she had, and she's like, and it's so like, I mean, they're bad actors. They're really bad actors because she's like, and I'm really sorry to everybody, but not you, Matt, not you. And then she's like, but I'm really sorry, but not to you, Matt. And so, but then they keep her, right? And I'm like, this is so weird because like on any other season of Big Brother, especially last season, they would have got rid of her right away, okay? You're not on week 1 or 2 looking for a shield. You're just not, okay? That's not something that comes till halfway through the season where you start using somebody as a shield, that you just don't get rid of them like they're using her now. They're now using Angela because if they sit next to Angela in the final 2, they know they'll win because they know that nobody's going to vote for Angela to win. Or will they? I mean, that could be the twist of this season, right? But the show has always been about expect the unexpected. But the last couple years, and this is one of the reasons why I kind of faded off watching it, it got so boring, right? Because they would form these alliances, and then there would be an alliance, and then that alliance would carry to the very end, and they would get rid of everybody, and then they would be powerful, and then be down to the final 4, and those 2 of those 4 would win. The show's not, it's predictable. The show is completely predictable, okay? And I'm thinking about this as I'm watching this, because I've noticed some things. Well, Tucker was my favorite. I wanted Tucker to win. I love Tucker. And I thought he played a really good game. But one of the things that was interesting about Tucker was playing such a hard game. Like, Tucker came in and he played so hard, right? Like, I mean, made decisions that nobody else would make very early on in the game. It was kind of similar to Heisem, but even Heisem that got called out on that, he didn't even do it like an eighth of what Tucker was doing last season. Then I go look at Tucker's Instagram after Angela comes out, she's a producer plant, and Tucker's like an established model with an agency in New York City, okay? Like underwear model, but like an established model, and has done tons of photo shoots. Also comes out and says he knows Cody, and he's friends with Cody that has won Big Brother and was on Traitors. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Now we've got 2 from the same season that could possibly be producer plants. Well, then it comes out that Brooklyn knew Aaron and other people and had worked with them, that Chelsea is related to some famous singer. I can't even remember these people now, okay? Chemo has an IMDb and has been in movies. I mean, like, I think T-Core has, like, a famous relative. It's like none of them... T-Core has also been on some TV show as well. It's like none of them don't have a thing. Well, the excuse everybody's saying is that everybody is always pulled from like an agency plant. That's not true, okay? In fact, I have a friend of mine that her cousin was gonna be on this season. Like, she made it 3 rounds until the final end. She wasn't part of any agency. She wasn't part of any, like, they weren't picking her out of that. I've known people on previous seasons that have made it down, and maybe they just reserve those spots for whoever the agency picks, and they make it look like this is illusion. But I've known people that have gotten calls from Big Brother that were like, oh, well, we're like, you know, like you auditioned and we looked at your audition tape and we're really interested. I've known people that have gotten those calls before. They just didn't make it to the final end, right? I mean, my friend was telling me that, like, she was talking about, I'm going to have people run my social media so they don't know that I'm gone until I get there and blah, 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 whatever. And so that's not necessarily true, and I've heard a lot of stories about that. Rachel has also come out and said, previous winner Rachel, that, like, their diary room confessions were never scripted. I mean, something like that. These diary room confessions, especially Cedric's, were like, and Cedric has, like, some connection to, like, some athlete. Each of them have connections to famous people, okay? Well, if they were going to say that in the show before now, because it's this whole AI season, if they were going to say that before now, like, oh, the real unexpected was that all these people are actors and they just came in here. First of all, I think if they did it this late in the game, they would lose their Big Brother fans. I don't think it's that much of a gotcha moment. I think people will be like, I'm so turned off by this. You've had me invest literally 8 weeks in the show. I'm done at this point. I don't care what you do next season. That's how I would feel if you wanted the truth. If they were going to, like, you know, Suri Fields came out last season, and she was the celebrity that played on it. Like, but they brought her in early, and everybody, like, you know, knew who she was and things like that. That was a smart move. So these are producer plants that I don't think the producers thought that anybody was going to look into and find out, which is baffling to me, unless they wanted them to find out about it. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching all this because, to be honest with you, it's so over the top this year of what they say. Like Quinn, I mean, Quinn is HOH, and he's like, yeah, and they can go get effed and blah, blah, blah. And then he loses an HOH competition. Somebody that he wants goes out, and he's literally bawling his eyes out. It's so over the top. I mean, Angela has had the power of veto used on her 3 times. Has that ever happened? Has any one person ever had somebody else use the power of veto on them? They usually don't even use the power of veto at all. You know? And I'm like, it's all these over-the-top moves, not to mention the alliances, okay? So the alliances are interesting to me because usually in any other season of any other show, Survivor, Big Brother, Traitors, anything that you watch, people usually stick to their alliances, okay? But these alliances, nobody's sticking to. Quinn didn't stick to the alliances. None of them are really sticking to the alliances. They're flip-flopping. They're going against their own alliance members. We've never seen this before. And this is really what got me thinking that it's really kind of like the redefinition of alliances, that you cannot trust your alliance member. This season proves you cannot trust who you're in alliance with. Well, I went back like 6 months ago and I started watching Survivor from season 1, okay? Because I started watching Survivor last year. And when I started watching it from season 1, what I realized was that I didn't remember, and I watched like the first 10 seasons, I just don't remember them, so I'm going back and watching them all the way through to the current season, which comes out at the end of this month. What I didn't remember was that the alliances in the first season were such a big no-no. I mean, it was like, no-no. Like, you should not be in a no-no. You should not be in an alliance no-no. Like, Rachel Hatch had an alliance with 4 people. He carried that alliance to the very end. In fact, one of the girls, I can't remember her name. It wasn't Truck Driver Susan, I loved her. She was in it, and then there was another girl, I can't think of her name, but she was like crying in the reunion, and she's like, I feel bad that I made it here through an alliance. Alliances were big no-nos. Not just season 1, but like up to like season 3. People were like asking, like, Boston Rob, are you going to be in an alliance? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I still think like that's kind of a cheat. They saw alliances as cheating. cheating is what they saw. If you remember in season 1 of Survivor, I can't remember what that girl's name is, but she and the blonde hair guy, they like went and they like acted like they had targets on their chest because they were the next ones that were going to get picked off by the alliance. Alliances were big no-nos. I mean, now you would never go on Survivor and not get an alliance, right? I mean, Richard Hatch, yes, problematic as hell, but was way ahead of his time as far as like game playing. You wouldn't go on these shows and not be an alliance today. But now we have Big Brother, right? Where nobody can trust their alliances. I mean, they've gone through the Pentagon, they've gone through the Fabulous Five, they've gone through, I mean, all these names. My husband cringes at the names. I kind of live for it, the names and the handshakes. I love all that. The trio, you know, I mean, the trio is the only one that's really stuck together. And then I was like, well, do they have real people mixed in with producer plants? I couldn't really figure it out. But I feel like whether they're producer plants or whether they're normal people that just happen to get on the show or whether they're producer plants or whatever, if they're producer plants, then how do they make the money at the end, or do they really get the money, or how does that all work? I don't know, okay? But what I really feel like is that this season was intentional to be a reset button for Big Brother. That they expect the unexpected was that going forward, you do not know what to expect. Because alliances don't mean shit anymore because you can't trust them. That you don't know if the veto is going to get used or not because for seasons on end, most people didn't ever use the video. What was that guy's name way back in the day? I can't remember. He was the one that used the veto on somebody else and then he got evicted. Then people stopped really using the veto, you know? And so it's like now everything has happened this season. The pawns have stayed instead of going home. And they've said the pawns always go home. The pawns have stayed instead of going home. The pawns have also gone home. Okay? People are taken, I mean, Angela has been taken off the block 3 times by a veto. You know, they've had the AI arena that people have taken themselves out at the very end. I mean, I was thinking about this last year. Who was the guy with the curly hair? He would have won this whole show last year if it would have had the AI arena and all that kind of stuff. I can't think of his name. It started with a C. Was it Carson or something like that? That guy would have won the whole show last year, okay? And I'm watching this, and I'm like, thinking about that past cast of last season, and I'm like, no, other than Sari, like, they were all real deal people. Like, you could tell. And I'm like, watching this season, and I'm like, they are really pushing the limits of like what you've never seen before on this show. People are like early on in the show, people were making moves that people would be afraid to make until way past half of the season because they would be afraid that they would be the next one to go. If you remember last season, I can't remember what her name was, but she was the first or second one to go. They said she was playing too hard. Do you remember that? When all she was doing was she was trying to defend herself. Now you've got Quinn and Tucker out here playing so hard, and they made it like so far in the game, you know? I don't know. There just seems something so bogus about it. And the only thing I can think is that people are losing interest in Big Brother. You know, they did this like whole recap show and they said it was because people were watching the Olympics, so they weren't watching the beginning of Big Brother, which that makes sense, right? But I don't even know how many people watch the Olympics this year. And so I was like, are people just losing interest in Big Brother because it feels like it's the same thing every season? And it's like people that are not that interested in the people that play anymore and stuff like that. I mean, the other thing that's interesting is there's very few showmances this season. When showmances are a thing that are huge, okay? Like there really aren't that many showmances this season. But there's a lot of gameplay. The focus is really, really on the gameplay. And so I'm like, this really has to be about like a reset button for Big Brother. Something is going on. And I think after the show is over, we will find out. I think they will do some kind of PR cover-up. Because after everybody's out of the house and they start talking, I've already seen that they're doing like podcasts with like Tucker and the people that Kenny that have been evicted, that they're doing like these conversations talking about it. But I think once everybody is out of the house and the show is over, I think they'll do some kind of PR cover-up because they have to address the fact that there are so many people that have ties to other people that have been in the Big Brother house and that there's all these conspiracies that they're producer plants and things like that. And people are like, well, there's always producer plants on reality shows. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of reality shows, but like reality, like Real Housewives, like some of these women try for 10 seasons as friends of to even become a friend of. It's so hard to get on these reality shows. So the fact that you have so many people in the same house that have all of these different connections. Oh, it's like this. Like I just saw this the other day. That Cam actually has a big following on Instagram and I think TikTok as well. And Chelsea was following him before and had like a crush on him and hasn't said anything in the house about it. So it's like almost like they were told not to talk about it. And I'm just mesmerized. I'm like, it's actually getting me more interested in the show, which then I'm wondering if that's not the conspiracy. That they thought the show wasn't going to do this well this year. So they put all these, because it was going to compete with the Olympics at the beginning. And if people don't watch the beginning of Big Brother, the chances are they're not going to catch up 3 weeks later. When I've missed the first season or two of Big Brother, I don't catch up seasons later. And so it's like, okay, so are they doing this because they competed with the Olympics at the beginning? And so they put all these producer plants in the house because they knew that they would be competing with the Olympics. And then people would be speculating outside of the house, looking these people up, getting people interested in it. And that's the real conspiracy. That's the expect the unexpected. That everybody was going to be looking at these people to get them more invested in them, because if they were producer plants, and people would be looking into it and having all these conspiracy theories like me, and then it'll get people interested in watching the show. But the problem is, I'm just not that interested in watching the show. This season is boring to me because it's so overplayed. It's so overplayed at this point that I'm not even that interested when some huge move is made. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys. I actually think I'm going to save my Sister Wives video till tomorrow. So I love you guys, and I will see you then. Bye.